So how does marketing answer the prompt? How does, at a product level, how do we make sure that when the prompt is answered, we appear on the search? So it's no longer direct load on Google, where you ask Google tell me about such and such.
Those days are gone.
You need to learn how to prompt.
Yeah.
That's a skill on its own. It's asking of marketeers, what is your next skill set? It's skills-based now.
The article says when CMOs and CFOs align their KPIs, they deliver more value. McKinsey says collaborating between the CMO and the CFO ensures that marketing strategies are linked to financial outcomes, improving transparency and accountability. Third one, Forbes says CMOs and CFOs work together. When they work together, can drive business growth, mitigate risk, especially when it comes to technology decisions. And obviously on the flip side is if you're working in silos, misaligned goals, inefficiencies, mixed up strategies. But again, for me, the important conversation is the role of marketing. Clearly, if it's being quoted by Harvard, Forbes, McKinsey, it's understand that marketing drives growth.
That's correct. For the longest time, marketing has been looked at as the babies that spend, right? With no return on investment. You ask for advertising budgets, they keep growing, but the sales are declining, etc., etc. When you as a marketer understand that your role is to recruit the next 100,000, the next 200,000, or the next 300,000 customers for this organization, it sort of kind of changes. But what we're seeing now with the growth of digital marketing and digital marketing spend, what we are able to bring is to say, on the funnel, at consideration and conversion, these are the people that came in because they saw the message, etc., 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 all the way down onto purchase. And I think that has changed the minds of CFOs across the world to say, where's your next key opportunity going to come from, and how can I help you to get to it? Let's roll, guys.
And it's officially 2026.
Yes.
My goodness, it's going to be a long year.
No, it feels
Kgomotso, welcome.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, Taban.
Thank you for making the time.
Yeah.
And welcoming me to your beautiful space.
Thank you.
I feel like all tech note out here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of devices.
It's Tech Place, it's Tech Valley.
Nah, this is nice.
Yeah.
This is nice. So, I want to chat to you about a couple of things.
Sure.
Like I said, it's an easy chat amongst friends.
Yeah.
Samsung didn't allow me to bring wine, but next time we'll do it over wine.
I've got a meeting after this.
So tell me, from beauty to tech giant Samsung, right? I want you to paint us a fun picture. And that fun picture should be, if your career was a smartphone feature,
Oh my goodness.
what would it be and why? You've got time to think.
Okay.
Yeah, you've got time to think.
If my career was a smartphone feature,
Yeah.
it would be object erase.
Why?
Because I think that I've been playing Houdini with my career a lot, right? I don't come from the conventional literal marketing way of doing things, right? Where you go as an assistant BM to a BM, and then you go the corporate marketing route eventually.
Yeah.
I fell into it. Literally. I didn't initially study marketing. I studied information systems. Yeah, Tech. I didn't finish it because I hated it.
Okay.
It was when there was the IT boom at the time and everybody was doing IT. Remember? Everybody was doing
I wanted to do IT, by the way.
desktop publishing and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And I hated it. And then I went to work for an IT consultancy, and I was picked up by the marketing manager, who was like, "You've got an eye for something.
Yeah.
Don't you want to come and work as a marketing assistant?" And I worked as a marketing assistant, and obviously then got my marketing qualification later. But yeah, it's like I'm Houdini in and out. You can't. My path is not as linear as everybody else's path is. So I didn't do assistant brand manager at AB InBev, or like a Unilever stint, or even an agency. I've never worked in an agency either. So object erase, put it in, take it out, an AI feature that you just,
All right, cool. We'll talk about that some
make
more.
it a cat.
Happy with that. And then I read somewhere that as you announced the CMO for Samsung Africa, you called your role a milestone and a responsibility.
Yes.
What's most exciting for you in shaping the journey of Samsung Africa?
I mean, who has an opportunity such as this one? I always say to my team, to work for Samsung is a great privilege, but an even bigger responsibility because you're sitting at number one, right? So everybody's chasing your tail, you know. You always have a target on your back. And that's possibly one of the key, I think for 2026, it's managing to just keep at number one. We're entering a very interesting space with AI. And there's a lot in the marketing space that AI is going to bring, but also there's a lot that is currently scaring. So for me, it's change management into the era of AI with marketing. So what happens to so much of what we got used to as the day-to-day in marketing? You know, I was telling Norma just the other day that press releases are no longer written, right? that was a key tenet of PR, right? It was the press release.
You sit and you write it down.
You must sit and write the press release and you must craft the story. But all you need to do is know how to prompt and you'll have the best press release in whichever tonality that you'd like. Eek, quite scary, right?
It is, huh?
Yeah.
Now, I want to go to the beginning side of your story.
Yeah.
Right? Early childhood.
Oh my God.
Upbringing. No, we have to do that. You know, that's when you know the person,
okay.
right?
Yeah.
I'm interested for you to walk your journey with us.
Yeah.
Childhood, man, dreams, ambitions. What did you think? Because I'm almost trying to map where you are now. The things that you are doing.
Yeah.
And young Kgomotso growing up.
Yeah. I'm a girl from guys. I'm from Soweto.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm
okay.
from
Where in Soweto?
The better part of Soweto. The better part of Soweto. I'm from Dobsonville.
Dobsonville.
Yeah. Extension 2. Get right. Extension 2.
Okay.
That matters. It's got something to do with the roofing structure of your home. So it kind of tells a story about whether your roof was asbestos or not.
Yeah.
So I grew up as a young, I've always been ambitious. That I can tell you. I've always just wanted more. And I believe it's because I had a very industrious mom. My mom was she was a woman of doing, you know, and she took pride in what she did. She didn't work in corporate at all. She actually worked for a Taiwanese company. It was a Taiwanese family, and she worked for them for a long time. So she went from cleaning to admin, you know.
Okay.
But she was always so industrious, and she had a good way with money, you know. And then in my high school years, normal high schooler, just a naughty girl from Soweto, giving white teachers problems.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, who's gonna bother Mrs. Fisser if it's not me, right? And upon matriculating, like I said to you, I went to Vets-Tech and I hated it. I actually hated it. And then I started working.
Yeah.
And that industriousness has always just been a part of my journey. Grew up a church girl, for instance.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord. I was told that church keeps you away from boys. So I spent a disproportionate.
This mom saying this to you?
No, you know what? You need to choose a path.
Yeah.
Are you going the boy route or are you going to go the education route? They don't mix.
There's two things. Those are the only options.
you must. So I was doing whatever it took for me to stay away from the boys so that I can do the books, right?
Yeah.
So I was not a quiet child, but rather a social butterfly, but in a very secure space.
Gotcha.
You know? I'm the last born of 4.
Last one of 4.
I'm the last born of 4. With my mother. I don't know about my dad, but with my mom. My mom had 4 kids.
Yeah.
My father was a man of the world.
Yes.
Let's put it that way.
Yes.
Having said that, I grew up in a 2-parented home.
Okay.
So my mom and my dad were together until they literally both died 2 years ago. So I was very coddled, you know. My sister was very protective of me. My other sister, so was my brother. I think that I had the more privileged life because I'm the only one that went to Model C school.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And my mom really worked hard for me to go to the Model C school, which I appreciate so much because obviously it opened up a lot of, exposure more than anything.
Gotcha.
So that's the early childhood.
Do you think you being the last born has an impact? The last born of 4, né?
Yeah.
Has an impact in how you tackle, how you run your teams currently in your current role? Like in any shape or form, I don't know.
No, I think I've always had to find a voice for myself.
Okay.
Which is why I'm forever this vocal because I know people usually say that the last borns are most listened to. I think that the last borns have got their own privileges, but the disadvantage is people making decisions on your behalf constantly because you're so young. So they'll decide, what you want to eat, what they want you to eat. They'll, my sister would I'd get home every day and she would have already made me something to eat. So there was always just, it's not necessarily the coddling being so good. The coddling does also just close your voice because, yeah, and maybe that's why I'm just so vocal about
Interesting.
what I want.
And I'll tell you why I asked, because later on, so I was doing my research and I asked your team, I'm like, so tell me about Kgomotso. I don't know from a bar of soap.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of boss is she? And they're like, so I'll tell you what they said.
What did they say?
Yeah, they said she's very relatable. I won't say who said what, because now they're going to be side-eyeing me. So she's very relatable, very human. You don't feel that she's a boss. She sings in the office. When we are Koisha, then she starts singing. So at least now I know. And now you also know you might be doing that.
I know exactly which song it is. Please don't even tell me. I know exactly which song it is.
So it's interesting that you say that. I was just trying to draw parallels between the two things, but very interesting. Okay, let's get to the chunk of our discussion. So I said to you earlier on beauty versus tech, or beauty from beauty going into tech.
Yeah.
What are some of the similarities or differences? Like, the things that stay the same and maybe the things that are different when you move across these two industries?
I think one of the most, and I get asked this question a lot, and people just honestly don't get how this move can be made. I don't get it. It's the consumer. Okay? At the heart of every marketing strategy is a persona, right? And whether you buy phones, televisions, cars, furniture, at the core, you're a consumer with a need state. And my job as a marketer is to get to the psychology of you making a decision to buy whatever. It could be anything, right? Yeah. So I come from very much a consumer marketing-led approach rather than a traditional, and let me not call it traditional, but just the marketing approach. Because the marketing approach is tell the story, tell to as many people as possible. My approach is find the consumer to tell them the story. Okay.
Break that down for me even further.
At a needs level, and this is basic economics, right? Needs and wants. At a basic needs level, there's certain things that we need. We don't shop using categories. We shop using our needs.
Gotcha.
So when you move your house, or when you're 16 and you need a phone, right? They buy you a phone, and then when you're 25, you're ready to buy a phone, but you're also at a need state to buy a car, you're at a need state to buy a house. You're the same person. It's just the products have changed. So it's that whole understanding the target and understanding the marketing for the target.
Yeah.
So it was easy for me to make the shift because the consumer is the same.
Gotcha.
Right? Whether you're buying foundation that you don't want to transfer onto your face because it's on your phone, or you're buying a phone, you're the same consumer. Whether you're buying a Tom Ford fragrance and you want to have an S series because it's the coolest phone, you have a Tom Ford, you have a Mercedes Benz, you have an S series. This is a persona. And that's why it was easier for me to make the move.
So needs are at the forefront, basically.
Yeah. I'm not selling tech.
Yeah.
I'm selling a service to you at a particular time in your life.
And how have you instilled this to your team? Because there's two schools of thought almost, and I think you alluded to it. There's the marketing side, but you say, no, I work from a needs perspective. Yeah. You almost have to entrench that to your team to say, guys, how we frame stuff has to be very different.
I always say, I've also got a retail background, which I'll tell you about, but start with the store and start with the consumer, because you start at the end, right? And then you work it all the way back to say, okay, if Tabani needs a phone, right? Where do we find him right now? And then that's when you put together your marketing and comm strat, because you're not saying, let's put out a message on TV, hoping that somebody can see it.
Yes.
We're saying, here at the core is this human being, or this number according to AI, this human being, what do they need to see in order for them to be able to make the purchase for the thing that I'm selling?
Gotcha.
Whereas, marketing used to be so different back in the days. Remember, it's just the advertising.
Yeah.
And you take the picture.
That's where it started and stopped.
Yeah, you take the picture and you put it everywhere and you hope somebody sees it. But now we're talking consumer journeys.
And it's so different right now. And even with AI, and we'll get to the AI conversation about how we see the world of marketing actually changing. Now, you were announced CMO 6 months ago, if not 7, if I'm not mistaken.
yes,
Right?
July.
So happy 6 months.
Yeah, when I'm emotional. July. Thank you very much.
I don't think your ex-co thinks you're new, by the way. I'm sure the things you have to deal with are not...
No, they're hectic. I said someone today, the things I see, guys. Anyway, yeah.
Oh, yeah, cool. So tell me, what has the ride been like? It's huge, man.
No, it's a huge move.
Yeah, it's a huge move. It's a huge business. It's a huge role. It's
big.
It's big.
Yeah,
You're driving value for the business. You are the person.
Yeah, I'm doing ROAS, which is, return on ad spend is possibly one of the key KPIs for me for this particular role. But having said that, it's different.
Okay.
So when I was head of marketing for mobile experience, which is basically a big part of the business, it was very executional.
Okay.
And for the first time in the past 6 months, I've had to move from execution to strategy. Whoa, what a leap. What a leap, especially in a multinational that, one, obviously does give you a certain sense of freedom, but obviously within guardrails, right? Sure. Because Samsung has to be Samsung, whether it's in Indonesia, in South Africa, in Nigeria, it has to look the same. So contrary to other CMOs that have got that sit within a South African context, you can walk in there and, new broom sees clean, change the strategy, change the corporate identity, do a new, visual identity, and that's how you basically launch yourself. I mean, this is the hallmark of every CMO.
Sure.
They change the logo. You've got to do
something has changed.
Seismic shift.
The logo's new. The proposition is new.
The whole thing.
Everything is new.
Because you have to cement your put your stake in the ground.
Kgomotso was here. Tamani was here.
Change the logo from green to yellow. And because you can't do that here, you've got there's little levers to pull rather than, so it's a continuous improvement rather than a seismic shift.
Okay.
And that is something that a lot of local CMOs possibly wouldn't, and that's why a lot of local CMOs struggle with coming into multinationals, is because there is no seismic shift that you can make, and usually it's usually visual, right? You want to do something that'll just say visually this has changed. Having said that, it's a lot of stakeholder management, and the reason why I say this is because for the first time, I was flown to Kenya for the first time in 3 years. I haven't been to Kenya in 3 years because I was working in Africa, as you may know.
Yeah.
And I presented the Africa strategy to the CEO of Samsung. Now,
global.
This is TM.
Boss.
This is the big. Yeah. It doesn't get bigger.
Yeah.
Right. And that's when I realized, gosh, big league. Yeah. This is in the world of Samsung, it actually doesn't get bigger than that. I felt it for the first time, where I was like, this is a big table, but I'm a big girl, and I'm now on the table. So it's not showing in the external; it's in the little whispers that go, "Hey, you're here," to yourself, right? And it's been an awakening of sorts. I feel like I was ready for it. I was seconded into the role, by the way, so I didn't apply for the role.
Hectic.
Yes, I was. The CEO approached me and said, I think it's time for you to take a step up.
Okay. And you must tell me what you think you did. I don't want you to derail from watching the storytelling now. But what you think got you to that place. Yeah.
I'll think about it. It's in the back of my mind. Now I forgot.
Okay, you're telling me about the presentation to the global guy.
Yes.
And you're in the seat and you're like, actually,
this is it.
I'm here.
Right? And that's when I felt it. Other than that, you walk the corridors and you can notice people are a little different, you step into your power. For a lack of a better word, because you obviously cannot operate at the same level. And this is the difficult thing about internal promotions, is that you must rebrand now in front of our eyes.
True.
Whereas if you're moving jobs, you've got the chance to rebrand as you get there.
True.
At the level of moving internally, there's literally a rebrand that has to happen. I was saying to someone, I hardly ever quote the Bible. I do quote the Bible, but sometimes the scripture comes to mind. I was saying to someone that there's a scripture that says Jesus was unable to perform miracles in Nazareth because they just saw him as Mary's boy. They were like, there's no way, what? This is just Mary's boy. Like, what do you mean he can turn water into wine? Yes, this is Mary's boy. And that for me shows that there has to be a certain part of you that sort of takes yourself out of Nazareth for you to literally turn water into wine, because you won't do it if you're still Mary's boy. And that's what I mean about the rebrand. It has to happen in front of people's eyes. Tough one.
Jeez. And how did you do it? How did you do it? Or how do you think you got it right?
I'm still doing it.
It's only 6 months. I mean,
tough conversations.
Yeah.
I love tough conversations because I hate hiding behind. And this is the thing about corporate. You know, we hide behind emails and we are keyboard
warriors.
We're not, you're like keyboard warriors. Having to have tough conversations with bosses that have become peers.
Yes. It happens overnight,
Because
2 months ago, I was telling you I need this. And you are running around to get it. Now it's
that's
like actually
important. So, and I think that that's the one thing that a lot of middle managers also struggle with into proper management, right?
Yeah.
Is this thing, it's khule sonke, right? And how do you take that leap into the next phase, leaving behind abantu khule nabo, literally, right? Whether it's in the company or the guys or whatever. You know, there's always that thing of you trying. So I've got a thing of don't go back to the hood in whichever way. Do not go back to the hood in your mind, in your mentality, in your thinking, because that's what's going to derail you. So that's what I did. You leave the hood. And the reason for that is because you won't level up. So you're going to stay at this level of your peers who you now have become a senior to, not necessarily directly, but you're now a senior in the organization. It's got a lot to do with what you do when you're at this level so that it's not difficult when you get here. And that's what I believe which answers your question, what has led me here, is that I've always operated at the level of understanding that there's something bigger that I'm supposed to be doing here. And I've got to manage everything around me to make sure that when it's ready to find me, it'll find me.
Jeez. Okay. It's such a hard thing, eh? Because I'm thinking about it in theory. I'm like, it sounds great listening to you right now. But the level in which you have to almost shift has to be so quick. Because unlike for you are black. You are female. Yeah. Like, all the odds are against you.
In a tech company.
In a global tech company.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you have no room to delay or lag behind.
That's correct.
The moment you are then promoted to get into that role, you have to show up as
very much.
I am the CMO.
Yes.
And I'm going to take charge of my role.
Yes.
So kudos to you, man.
It was a very scary thing because if you think about it, Tani, 1 minute you're walking in here and you're taking instructions. And then the next day you're walking in here and you have to give instructions. And it's the same crowd, you know? One of the toughest things I've had to do was to have a tough conversation, you know, and it's not just with one person. It's not just, you know, with a group. It's the constant, you being constantly aware of where you are and finding and having to, and I always say this, meet the moment because the moment calls for a senior you and not the junior. So it's very difficult to not slip into it because the people are still the same. You know, your ex-boss is still your ex-boss.
I get you.
Still, you know, the colleagues that you were at the same level with are still here. So how do you rebrand in front of people's eyes? And you've got no time to go and change. And go, ta-da, it's been 3 weeks, I'm back. I went on a sabbatical for 3 weeks and I'm back and I'm a completely changed person. Sasa, you're moving desks.
Yeah. And now tell me, how do you then deal with that or handle it? Because it's demanding, like you're saying, it's exhausting. Like outside of work, maybe even here at work, but there should be a way in which you've got a way to cope with the demands of what has come.
Oh yeah. I've got a great support system. I've got good friends. I've got great family. I've got a great support system. I think surrounding yourself with people that understand the bigness of your role, but also understand the core of the person that you are. You know. We work for a very strict company, so there's rules and laws and things and do's and don'ts, etc., to a point where I've had to just find a particular group of people that will just surround me and make sure that, emotionally, physically, and you know, psychologically, and all of that, I'm safe.
Okay. In a conversation, I think when you were announced and you were asked about your leadership. You said your leadership is anchored on 3 things. It's anchored on authenticity, empowerment, and empathy. Why are these significant for you specifically? And I almost want you to also draw into why you think these things are just as important for business outside of you.
Authenticity is important because it's in authentic storytelling where the magic is found, whether it's at a marketing level or it's at a human level. I have conversations about influencer marketing at dinner tables because everybody thinks they can be an influencer for Samsung, And I always...
Yeah, yes, we deal with that.
The one thing that I hate, and I know I digress, the one thing that I hate is, we should do something together. No, it's not.
Yeah, I'm sure we want to do things with you all the time. Yeah, I've got this idea, by the way. I want to do X, Y, Z. I'm sure Samsung will be keen. Exactly.
Trying to collaborate. Anyway, authenticity is important from a brand voice, as well as just leading with authenticity. I think that's important. Empathy is a trait that I got just after COVID. We went through the most, and work still demanded to be done because we had to feed our families. But I also think that there's a level of humanity because all of us at some point were just completely useless because nobody could do anything, right? It was just, there was a void. And then the last one, I forgot what it is.
It was empathy. It was empathy, empowerment, and authenticity. Empowerment.
The reason why, empowerment is because I've always been empowered. I've worked for some amazing women leaders who have just literally at times told me to put my head up when an idea doesn't go well or when I don't feel like what I've just said actually makes sense, which is a funny thing of just being a woman. There's second guessing that comes out of nowhere. Yeah.
Why do you think that is? I'm interested to know.
I think that there's a level of sureness, and I don't want to get into boy and girl politics because it's a hot topic in this country at the moment.
I think we should get into a discussion. Hey man,
boy child politics and boy moms. Yay, long story. But anyway, it's one of my favorite weekend subjects actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I don't want to go into the boy child being left behind.
My question was around how have you found that as a female you second doubting why?
It's that imposter thing, and it comes from a seat at the table. You have to learn to shut down the inner critic. And I'm not saying that we're born with it because I've only ever been a woman, so I don't know how men think. Yeah. But I watch the way in which they move and the surety with which they have in their own thoughts. Yeah. It's amazing, right? And congratulations to you guys. And funny enough, there is an inner critic, and I'm not saying that it's a trait of women, but I do think that the environments in which we grow up in do either feed the inner critic or diminish it.
Interesting. Okay. And you don't want to get into the boy child conversation? I'm
a boy mom.
Oh, okay.
I'm a boy mom. I've got 2 boys.
Okay.
And all the best to everybody. Okay? Good luck.
Is it?
Yeah, to everyone.
Okay. I think that's a good luck.
Yeah, because I to a certain degree, and I cannot speak for all boy children. And I heard the Minister of Education when she said it, and I could see the stats behind it, and we see it in our homes, right? And unfortunately, it's very difficult to have this conversation without othering.
Sure.
Because then it goes into, but what about the dads? Where are the moms? But it's something to watch. South Africa needs to watch this problem. It was tabled to say we have a problem at a statistic levels where boys are not finishing school. That is a fact. What we do with that in our homes, in our businesses, in our families is up to us. But it's been noted.
Okay. I know Mzamo Masito wrote a book about, I might be butchering his title, it's going to kill me. But he said, I think this country hates our men, and then he scratches it out in how the design is and says boys. Yeah. And he's talking all about how the boy child is being left behind and it shouldn't be either or. It shouldn't be either or. Just take a girl child or you're supporting boys. Why can't you support the girl child and support the boy child at the same time? So I think it's a conversation our country
think all things being equal is what is worrying me.
Yeah.
Right? So when we take away the othering, mom hated home, no father, for both of them. Yes. Right? And that's where for me, it becomes glaringly obvious that all things being equal, so no two parented households, mother is sick, can't afford it, wara. Somehow the girl child statistically is showing that in the same environment, they are able to find a way out. So what is in the psychology of the boy child that says to him, I actually should push harder. I should. She is. I should too. I don't know.
Yeah,
And then it becomes a boy-mom conversation. Then it goes to hell.
into another direction. No, fair. I get why you didn't want to go into it. So I want to go back now to you being in the tech space.
Yeah.
And as you were walking in, we had a quick banter about like AI and tech and what's happening now. And you almost joining at a time when it's the whole Internet of Things, now we're moving to like an AI of Things.
Yes.
I'm sure you, because
I said that. Did I coin that term the other day? And now you guys are using it. I'm so
Oh,
happy.
really? You coined it. Please take it.
I'm joking. But I did. It's the AI of Things. It's the AI of Things.
So with that said, you're at the forefront of all of this change that's happening. What are you seeing? Like, I'm interested to see what you're seeing and potentially what's the impact in marketing and in business.
Oh my gosh. You know, when we launched one of our devices, our flagship devices in 2024, it was called an AI phone. And
it was called an AI phone?
It was the first AI phone in South Africa, the S24. And because Google Pixel, we don't have Google Pixel in the country. It was basically two phones that were launched that were AI phones. I remember saying to Noma actually that there's a fundamental shift that's coming. But I didn't think that we understood it for what it is at the time.
Okay.
Right? The iterations of ChatGPT until where it is now in the shortest space of time should show you just how everything has changed. I mean, from 1.0, I think it's on 5 now.
Yeah, very quickly. Very quickly.
Very quickly, right? And how it has literally become everybody's companion should actually show you.
True.
So there's obviously the tech piece of it, right? The hardware piece of it, the AI of things. We do AI for all. You can see all of these things are interconnected. They can talk to each other. Smart things allows them to do many, many amazing things, right? In the marketing space, I am worried that we don't realize the impact of AI, not just in the way in which we do our duties on a day-to-day basis, but in the way in which data is interpreted and looked at. And how advertising is completely going to change in the next year or two. You know, Google understands this, of course, very well. They almost lost it, but I think
they got it back very quickly.
They're grasping it, which is really great. But I still do worry about our institutions, our universities, the readiness for the AI generation in the way in which they learn. And whether those graduates would be ready for the world of work. Because if you're doing, think about it, if you're doing let's not talk humanities because that's a lot better. But if you're doing a BCom right now, in the next 2 or 3 years, how many of those skills that come from the textbook are you actually going to use?
True.
That's the part that worries me, because then what then becomes of what we expect to come out of higher institutions? What work are we going to ask them to do? Because for the past 3 years, they've been learning to regurgitate information back. But maybe that's where critical thinking comes in.
And I mean, it's tricky, right? Because, and I feel some type of way about where AI is. I love it, right?
Yes.
I want to learn. I want to get into it. I'm doing all sorts of things, right? That's my thing. Like, I love it.
Yes.
But to your point, I think the world is left behind, especially in South Africa. So last year we did a segment around AI with a partnership with Forge, which is a whole AI end-to-end marketing tool. And when we were talking, you start realizing how, one, we are far behind. Two, how the government is also just as slow, if not slower. So what does it look like, specifically what you're talking about now, people coming into work? I don't think we're equipped or the people that will be coming into the work world are equipped to solve the problems and the needs that we're speaking about, if you are not in touch with what is actually currently happening.
I mean, if prompt engineering is not within your study set at this moment, because
that's a skill.
It is a skill. That is that is the next skill. So if you are not being taught how to prompt, you have a big problem.
Yeah.
Because that's and I was saying this to someone, without giving too much away, I must remember I'm under NDA on a few things. I was saying this to someone, I was saying, we've moved from the era of basically showing what the product can do to how do we answer the prompt? So how does marketing answer the prompt? How does, at a product level, how do we make sure that when the prompt is answered, we appear on the search? So it's no longer direct load on Google, where you ask Google tell me about such and such.
Those days are gone.
You need to learn how to prompt.
Yeah. Jeez.
That's a skill on its own.
And how are you then structuring your teams for the future of marketing?
We are very busy. We're working for an international company. We are very busy at the moment. So it's about removing redundant tasks, obviously.
Yeah.
And repetitive tasks, allowing us to get the teams to get into the creative work.
Yeah.
And also it does help with reporting, right? Because then the amount of reporting generated AI really does help with literally giving you concise information in a very short space of time. But it's asking of marketeers, what is your next skill set? It's skills based now.
Jeez. Okay, cool. I hope everyone that's listening will
I hope that everyone that's listening hears me. It's fine. It goes from all the way. It starts with creative. Firefly can make an ad in VO can make an ad in 2 minutes. And I'm not fear mongering. Yeah. I'm saying, what other skills are we able to find within, because it takes away quite a bit. So from TV production all the way until script writing to copywriting.
Everything happens like this now.
To the whole thing. So what we should be doing as marketeers is, how do we diversify our skill set to complement AI? It doesn't want to take your job away. Yes, the machines are not here to take your jobs away.
Yeah, true.
But how do you then leverage it to make, and I know I use this word easy and I hate it, to make your job easier, but because that's what it is.
It's working smarter. Yeah, it's working smarter, making your job easier. There's nothing wrong with making your job easier.
Yeah.
So you can get to, I think my view is, so that you can spend more time doing the things you should be doing.
Yes.
To your example earlier on about a press release, like possibly you could be doing something else. Like you could be in a meeting to discover what the next wave of PR actually looks like versus sitting for 2 hours trying to craft a press release.
True. Do you know what scares me though?
Yeah.
Is agentic. Is agentic models. Yeah, because think about it. I was saying this to someone, and this is it's a joke. Take it for what it is. I was saying this to someone, and I was like, we're gonna get to a point where your agent meets mine, right? And because your agent knows so much about you, and my agent knows so much about me, will there be?
I think I know where you're going with this.
Or maybe they can use it for matchmaking. I don't know. It's got so much information.
Yeah,
it's actually quite scary.
It's scary.
Because this conversation could have been a few prompts.
True.
If you think about it.
True.
Right? I'm like, hey, I'm being interviewed by Tabani. What is he going to ask me?
Yeah.
Goes and searches for the kind of questions
go look
you
at
ask.
all the interviews he's done.
Yeah.
Let's see what's likely. That's what actually what's likely. Exactly.
Yeah, and then I'll just send it to your ChatGPT and then we're done. What are you doing this for?
We're wasting time. We could be doing something else. Yeah, it's a crazy world. Okay, cool. Now, I read an interesting article, which I think you read because I think you reposted it. And it was around CMO and CFOs. This particular one, I think, came from Harvard Business Review.
It was that one where I was saying that marketing drives
exactly
revenue and value.
That's the conversation I want to go into.
Yes.
So the article says, when CMOs and CFOs align their KPIs, they deliver more value. McKinsey says collaborating between the CMO and the CFO ensures that marketing strategies are linked to financial outcomes, improving transparency and accountability. Third one, Forbes says CMOs and CFOs work together. When they work together, can drive business growth, mitigate risk, especially when it comes to technology decisions. And obviously on the flip side is if you're working in silos, misaligned goals, inefficiencies, mixed up strategies. But again, for me, the important conversation is the role of marketing. Clearly, if it's being quoted by Harvard, Forbes, McKinsey, it's understand that marketing drives growth.
That's correct.
Marketing is the vehicle for where the growth of this business is going to come from.
Yes.
I want you to double click on that, on what your view is.
And I think that that's where my consumer marketing hat actually works.
Okay.
Because for the longest time, marketing has been looked at as the babies that spend, right? With no return on investment. You ask for advertising budgets, they keep growing, but the sales are declining, et cetera, et cetera. When you as a marketer understand that your role is to recruit the next 100,000, the next 200,000, or the next 300,000 customers for this organization, it sort of kind of changes, right? And CFOs, we have a very strict CFO here as well.
Is it? They're all strict though.
But no, at Samsung, no decision is made verbally. Like you will present.
Oh, really?
And yes, and you will show KPIs, and you will show what the return on ad spend is. Like, yeah, I've never seen a company as strict on return on advertising dollars and rands as this one. So what I was saying is, digital marketing has also allowed us to have a space at the table on how much value we bring and what we can actually show for it. Previous years, you couldn't really attribute a sale to out of home.
True.
Billboard is dead. And really, hey, frequency of 3, we come up with things to just make it make sense. But there is no proper attribution model that will say that this consumer walked in and this is what they bought because they saw the billboard.
Yeah.
But what we're seeing now with the growth of digital marketing and digital marketing spend, what we are able to bring is to say, on the funnel, at consideration and conversion, these are the people that came in because they saw the message, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, all the way down onto purchase. And I think that has changed the minds of CFOs across the world to say, where's your next key opportunity going to come from? And how can I help you to get to it? So, for example, now we've been planning for the year, right? Yeah. And it sits in all of these, my team sits in all of these different silos. And I said to them, guys, PR, social, digital, the customer sees the same thing. So you can't say that I work in PR and for that reason, I'm not going to do anything on social. It's the same, it's the same consumer.
True.
So CFOs are starting to see the value based on, in my view, the fact that they're seeing return on ad spend that is linked specifically to digital media. Thank God. Okay. Right? And they can see that it costs you less to keep a customer. So they understand that customer lifetime value is just as important. And that customer needs to continuously be serviced, whether it's with offers, whether it's with a new product, but keeping the customer talking to you and being engaged is possibly one of the key KPIs for a brand as big as ours. So making sure that we don't lose, which is basically making sure that the churn rate is kept at where it's supposed to be, has possibly made our CFO a little less worried about advertising rands and cents.
Yeah.
Sales guys will always say to you that you're spending more money. Marketing always just spends money. Marketing just wants more money. But I think we're starting to show that we bring with it profit. We commercialize the story. We commercialize the brand story. You can't just sell products. You've also got to sell a particular brand story, and that's why Samsung continues to be number one. That's because of our equity. Yeah. We've got competition coming in left, right, and center with products that are possibly spec'd a little bit higher. But what keeps the home, a Samsung home, is the understanding that this is a really good brand.
Gotcha.
Right? Why? Because of equity.
Equity, which is your job.
Which is my job.
And I would love to know, if you sit back and you reflect, how do you foster and cultivate that relationship just between you and the CFO?
Numbers. And results. Guys, don't play on results. More numbers. Don't play on results. And I think marketeers also get themselves into the spin where, we want to show the grandeur of what we do, which is what I was telling you about, the rebrand, et cetera, et cetera. But when you start to show what it actually does top line, guys, when we're done selling a phone, we sell another one. When we're done selling a TV, we'll find another person to sell the TV to. It's numbers. So you and I know that a lot of marketers laugh, and I used to a particular degree until COVID hit. Brand love and brand stories, those are great, but you have to find a way to actually, make the money. When I was at Lauda and I was a junior, I think I was a product manager. on Estee Lauder. And it was when the July was in its heydays. Huh?
Yeah.
And we had a little marquee set up, and we were
That
doing
was my key. Yeah.
lip touches with pure color envy, you know? And people were drunk, you know? So we have family lipstick. And we went back to report to our brand general manager at the time, Kiri Evans. She's now in the UK. And we were like, yeah, we had a really great event. Like, the marquee was full.
They kept coming back.
Kept coming back for more lipsticks, you know? And she said, yeah, I saw on Facebook. My way was flowing. There were no sales.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, that is so cruel. This is actually a brand building thing. But we didn't even think about how to get them back into the store.
I'll close the loop, man.
Right? We were just enjoying the moment and being in the seeing Tira walk around or whatever, you know? But you didn't think about closing the loop. Could it have been a QR code that takes them to, I don't know, could it have been a sample that says on your next purchase? Could it have been a discount off? Could it have been something, you know? And that's because as a marketer, you think, yeah, I've done my job. People love the brand. They've put the lipstick on twice, 3 times, or whatever.
Yeah.
But is that the end of a complete interaction with this person and the brand?
No.
And I was like, she's like, my way was flowing, but dollar sales. So actually, guess what? We can't do it next year.
Yeah, that's when and then marketers are frustrated. It's like, no, we
can't do any cool stuff around here.
Exactly.
But that's because you didn't show, because that is return on ad spend. That is ad spend. Whether it's an eventing or not, it's ad spend. So I've learned to not make them away flow, but to
I'll actually use that line. I'll use that line now. Don't make them away flow.
Don't make them away flow. You're going to pay because you're the only person paying here now.
That's crazy. Okay. I think it's a good lesson learned around the language. Basically, it's the language of business. Just like use the language of business and understand what finance wants.
Yes.
I think that's the most important thing.
I think everybody's looking for growth. You know, it's just that the number that matters the most is the money number. Like we're looking for follower growth. Other people are looking for share of voice growth. Those things matter. But when you're not getting top line, they don't. My other boss once said to me that if the sales are great, nobody's to blame and everybody's happy. But if the sales are bad, even the fact that the light box is sitting skew is now the reason why we're not selling more. So fix the sales. Trade your way out of a mess.
Sure. Okay. Let's talk about teams.
Teams.
Yes. Let's talk about teams. How big is your team?
Sure. I don't know how big my team is. 18 people, 18, 19 people.
18, 19 people.
Yeah, 18, 19 people.
And how have you structured your team, if I may ask?
At the moment, it's structured according to function, to be honest.
Okay.
So we serve the business. So we basically a service to the business on a few key marketing activities across PR, social influencer, some retail, as well as digital marketing. Okay. So everything that is not TV and radio basically sits with our team. Okay. And they are the execution arm for both consumer electronics business as well as our mobile experience business.
Gotcha. Now, in you having this team, I'm interested to know, what are your thoughts around what makes a winning team?
You know, the human part of me in here sometimes leaves and then it comes back. But the girl from Gazi goes away because, right? I think shared goals is possibly one of the first things, right? Then I also think, and I say this a lot, there's a level of wanting to be here that is very, very important for a team. I need to work with people that want to be here.
Yeah.
Okay?
I can sense the clarity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because if you want to be here, you're going to do what it takes to make this team succeed. Because you want to be here. Right? And I struggle a lot with non-committalness in a team. So are you with us or are you like you best be in it? We'll talk about whether you've got capacity, whether or whatever.
Do you want to be here?
I need you to want to be here. I need you to want to, because that is a good place to start.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because you find that high performing teams, though have got a myriad of problems. You know, I don't know, there's somebody who doesn't want to do this and somebody who wants to do this and this one doesn't get along with this one. They want to be here.
Yeah.
So they're going to drive the team growth from, guys, I actually think this is a cool place to be.
Yeah.
I think this is a cool place to be. And I want to be here.
Yeah. And you know, you also find that they will then ride and die for each other. Like, even when it gets tough and there's a big campaign, like, everyone will slog through the toughness because to your point, they want to be here.
They want to be here.
And when they don't want to be here, then
they don't. Then it's called a resignation. and you know, I am.
I didn't expect that.
Because you also don't want to be here.
Yeah.
Right? And that is so important because it sort of kind of moves away from the riffraff because you have less of, and that's not my job. You have less of, I don't want to do it. You know, you last week, I said to one of my team members, I'm like, we are going to do this presentation. And because she wants to be here, she's like, yeah, actually, we're going to do it because I want to be here. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Was the timeline a little crazy? Of course. Was the expectation out the roof? Definitely.
Yeah.
Did we knock it out the park? You best believe. You know why? Because we are working with people that want to be here.
Yeah.
And people that want to be here don't clock watch. People that want to be here go the extra mile. People that want to be here don't need a pat on the back every 5 seconds. People that want to be here protect each other because they really are interested in what we're doing.
And I think you mentioned it earlier on around you've got a good community around you.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to understand in the work environment, if it does exist, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Because what I'm hearing is, yes, there's a boss that's demanding of a marketing team, but it's a boss that's also there for her team.
Yes.
I will support my team. I'm gonna make sure.
Yeah. To the extent that I can.
Of course, to the extent that you can.
Yes.
Right? And I'm not saying this now just because you're in front of me. I mean, I asked your team and earlier on we spoke about what they said about you, right? And that's proof. That's proof in the pudding when the team is actually saying, this is what I get from my boss.
Yeah.
They didn't know I was going to actually say this while we were recording. So, hey, who does that for you outside of your circle? And now I'm talking about in the work environment. Do you find yourself in a position where you think you've got that support? And if you don't, then...
In one of my... I think it was a podcast, you know, I said, one of the things that especially women in the corporate space need to know is the power of compartmentalizing your life, right? And knowing what to ask from where. So important, that thing. So important. Work asks for work. And I'm answering your question, but I need to be very direct in the who, right? Work asks for work. And unfortunately, when you give anything else to work outside of work, it doesn't like it, right? So when you ask work for support, whether it's people or processes or systems, it becomes a little bit difficult because that's not the relationship we have, yeah?
Got you.
Right? So the same way a person would go to church for spiritual enrichment, they need to know that that's not the place to find that. You won't find it anywhere else. You have to find it there. I have learned the art of compartmentalizing my life to a point where I know where to get what from where. So support, I mean, if it's offered, it'll be great. But am I asking for it from work? Oh, no. Absolutely not. And because you really are barking up the wrong tree. Are you joking? Who must do that? Who must do that for you? Huh?
Yeah.
Get a coach, get a mentor, find it. But here, we're asking for delivery. And I am like that with my team.
Got you.
I'm like, do what it takes to take care of yourself so that when you get here, you're at your best. Because you want to be here. So, support-wise, I will support you to do what you need to do to support yourself.
Got you. Cool. As we close off.
What?
I thought it was going to fly. And I mean, I'm honest to time. You gave me a time and I'm looking at the time now. So my question is around how do you drive your future, right? Where you want to be. Because obviously where you are now is not where you want to end.
Oh, where I want to end. Yeah.
So how do you close that gap now? Because I'm sure you've got big, tall, audacious goals.
Yeah.
And you need to do something in order to get there.
Yeah. I think it's time for me to flex my strategic arm.
Nice.
I'm at a point in my career where execution actually doesn't matter, but I work for a very executive space. So I need to find a way to mine the gap between strategy and execution.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult in a multinational because you don't necessarily drive the strategy.
Gotcha.
So yeah, there's a lot of work to be done around strategy and strategic thinking.
Yeah.
I've mastered the art of execution and continuous improvement, like waxed. Yeah, it's time to reach into that part of the brain that says blue sky and how do you build. And it's managing that within a very execution driven business, you know?
Because you think your role demands that of you, obviously.
My role demands not necessarily strategy, but localization of a very, very big strategy.
Got you. Okay, I get you.
And I say this because, like I said to you, Samsung will always appear, Samsung wherever.
Yes,
so
very
you know,
consistent.
yeah. What is the local language and
like?
how is Samsung showing up locally? Is possibly the bigger job to be done.
Got you. My last one, and I need you to answer it in a minute.
Yeah,
max.
1 minute.
1 minute.
Because
yes, which I love. You say, I'm quoting you for the last time, your work doesn't speak for you.
Yes.
Open your mouth. Yes. Speak about your work.
Yes, the famous
in a
line.
Minute. Kgomotso.
Yes.
My question is, when you struggle to do that, and I'll almost try and tie it back to what you said about females and how they show up in the work world. The reality is people struggle with that. Like, what would your advice be around overcoming that? Like tools, tips, I don't know.
Bring results. Show value.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, when you've got something to talk for, you've got the ability to talk.
Yeah.
Bring results and show value. Bring results. Nobody wants to hear. Nobody's interested. Just bring results.
Okay.
And then you've got something to talk for, right? Because your work won't speak for you, but the results are there. So bring results. I always say this: bring value, guys. Emsebenzini, we are here to bring value. Yeah. Bring value, and then watch it work.
Brilliant. Kgomotso,
Tabani.
Thank you so much. You're a rock star. I appreciate your time and sharing everything you've shared today. I've been scribbling here. And I hope everyone that's watching will benefit from this.
I hope everyone that's watching will.
You're a rock star, man.
Yeah. Guys, learn how to prompt.
Learn how to prompt.
Learn how to prompt. Please.
This is true.
Yeah.
Super. It's a wrap.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
It's a wrap.